You know, the greatest challenge in education of primary children these days is that world has progressed so much. Children are born with mobiles in their hands, but the learning methodologies in schools are yet very age old. Do you agree? Now, for example, if a child has to be taught what is a square and rectangle, square is like this, rectangle is like this. That's the way, same way being taught from the old age till now. Nowadays, children are so disinterested in school learning is because they're finding much more interesting things happening in mobile and laptop and TV and all those things compared to what is happening in school classrooms. So, therefore, they are losing interest in mathematics, which will lead to them not selecting career options which will be the most fantastic in the future. If you see nowadays AI and everything is coming, every one of those careers is based on mathematics. And what will happen if our children lose interest in mathematics just because wrong way of learning mathematics in school? As parents, can we fix it? Yes, we can. And one of the ways I'm showing you is how we can make these simple concepts very gamified just using a pen and a paper. One such puzzle I'm going to show you in this video, and you can make many such puzzles for yourself. I'll also give you an option at the end of the video which will also remove that work from you as a parent. But ensure that your child's reasoning abilities, analysis abilities, all those things are up to the mark, which makes them ready for the future, not just rote learning what is a square, what is a rectangle. Yes, before this puzzle, your children must know what is a square and what's a rectangle, of course. Okay, and after that, what do they have to do? Now, you can draw such pictures, right? Squares, and inside that, some lines, and which will make it many squares and many rectangles. Now, the simple question is how many squares are there? That's all. And children have to find out a number of squares. Now, children usually what do they do? What do they do? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Of course, some children will say it is 10, okay, which is not wrong. Now, if very important is when you're saying 10, you should say, okay, fine. Now, if children count this also, like this, and this, also, then you can say, very important, don't say it's wrong. Say that how? How is this a square? How is it if they count this also 11, 12, 13, they'll say 13. And you can ask them how. You know it's not 13, right? You can ask them how. And they'll start showing this. Then ask them, is this a square? That's the way you can bring in growth mindset in children. Now, even if children don't count these rectangles, if they say 10, ask them, is it really just 10? Then they will have to think and figure out, are there any more squares? Are there any more squares? Now, of course, this shape, this size squares are, this size squares are 10 only. Now, what if we have bigger squares? You can ask them, what if they have bigger squares? Now children start seeing, oh, right, there are some bigger squares also. They'll start seeing little bigger square, right? This is a bigger square, little bigger square, correct? This is a little bigger square, right? It's a bigger square. Now, are they having little more bigger squares? The same size, how many can they find? So the strategic way for them to think is, okay, this size this size square was, one minute, this size squares are 10, fine. What if this size squares, the next size squares, correct, this is the next size, ask them what's this size, how many? Some children might directly jump to the big square that is there outside, okay, but you should ask them smaller to bigger. This size, okay, next size is this one, right? Next size, how many can you find? Ask them to keep finding. You see here, There is one, there is one here, this square, then two, then three. Some children will see only this much. Then ask them, okay, can you find more? Then they will say, okay, we will try to find more. Okay. And if there was a line here, then this would have become one square, but there's no line, right? So three more squares like this. Okay. Three more squares like this is done. This size, three more sides, done. What's the next size? Next size is, of course, the bigger one, which is the one. It is not just one, two, right? It was not, this was one, two blocks, one, two small squares added together, get the little bigger square. The next size, you should make children understand, okay, see, this was two boxes, fine. This was four boxes. Next is six boxes, one, two, three, four, five, six. That means this much big square. So, how many of this size is there? How many of this size is there? Right? Then they'll start counting how many of this size is there. Then the last comes the eight boxes one. So what happens? They see the progressively how to find out. It's a strategic way of thinking, right? So they learn the way of thinking. Mathematics is a language of thinking. It is not just learning what's a square, what's a rectangle. It's a way of thinking. I always say every child, there is a mathematician in every child because they know to think. One who knows to think knows mathematics. And how much they're using mathematics, that much better they will become. And when will they use the mathematics? If you just say this is square, this is rectangle, there's no thinking at all. This puzzle will make them think. When they think, they're using mathematics and they'll become better at that skill. Just like you, when you keep cycling, you become better at cycling. Just like that, when you keep thinking, you become better at maths. So believe that your child can become a math champion. Now, yeah, it's very simple for you parents to make such things on paper and give it to your children and ask them to find number of squares, number of rectangles. Just, you know, to draw many shapes, right? Just within the shapes draw more shapes and just give them. That's one thing. Now if you are finding even that is not possible for you, click on the link in the video's description. At the end of the Google form, you will come to a WhatsApp group where such puzzles are daily given so that children just have to take that and solve it and send it back. So that at the end of a month or a quarter, they get prizes as well. So that it will keep motivating them to do such activities, keep doing the thinking, and become math champions who will study on their own very soon. I know that is the dream of every parent. If you like this video, like it, don't forget to share it, and of course, subscribe to my channel without fail. Until this next video, see you. Bye bye.